Hello, how are you? Barky dogs. Hey everybody, KMO here with another out of my head video. So I'm nearing the end of this this audiobook, The Fourth Age by Byron Reese. I said he's the most optimistic of all the people that I've read recently on the topic of AI. Well, boy, toward the end of the book he gets really optimistic. Like, I think it's fair to say, and he probably wouldn't object to calling him a techno-utopian. That in fact he explicitly talks about the concept of utopia, and it's not something coming in this fourth age that we're just beginning, but it's his aim for the fifth age, which, you know, short of radical life extension, none of us is going to live to see. Today I read an essay or a column by Shelley Palmer, who often comments on matters of artificial intelligence and science generally and technology, and this week's column is about space and space exploration, and how during the Cold War, you know, the US basically went to the moon to demonstrate to the Soviet Union who was the top dog in space. And then, you know, after 5 years or so of going to the moon, we just quit. And for the next half century, no human went any further from Earth than low Earth orbit. And now, China and its Chang'e missions are going to the moon. You know, they're in phase 2 right now, or is it phase 3? They sent up orbiters. Now they've sent landers that soft land on the far side of the moon, and they've got probes up there. And I think the next phase will be missions to bring back lunar materials, and then after that comes the manned phase, where they'll actually be putting human beings on the moon again for the first time since 1972. And India is also ramping up to send human beings to the moon. So I think if other countries start really mobilizing in space, the US will have to follow suit. And the price that NASA projects cost has been a sticking point, you know, particularly for deficit hawks and, you know, fiscal conservatives and whatnot, and also people who say, you know, better to spend that money on schools or bridges or, you know, something else that they value more highly than space exploration. And I've never been particularly impressed by those sorts of arguments, just because all the technological innovation that, you know, going into space necessitates pretty much provides new technologies which, you know, it provides more wealth in the long run than it costs us. These missions more than pay for themselves in the long run. But now that, you know, China in particular, but also India and other powers are going back to the moon, I think the US is going to have to. And in the piece that I read, Shelley Palmer was talking about, well, it's not just countries that are in this game now, it's private companies and even individuals. You know, the price of the many-year NASA mission to build a rocket that would be suitable for, you know, interplanetary missions, manned interplanetary missions, it's going to cost around, you know, $35 billion. He says that, you know, there are individuals on the planet, about 60 of them, who could just write a check for that. You know, so it's not only a race for countries and companies, but really, you know, the hyper-wealthy individuals who take an interest in this topic are going to be major players. People like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson. And, you know, what are the political implications if all of the human presence on Mars owes its allegiance to Amazon.com, you know, or to SpaceX? I mean, are we going to have Planet Bezos? Are we going to have Planet Musk? What will your rights be on Planet Musk? And will you be better off or worse off than if you were living on an American settlement on the moon or on Mars or on Ceres or on some, you know, constructed habitat in space somewhere? What are the political implications? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know that I feel more secure in my rights as a U.S. citizen than I ever did, as an Amazon employee. Not that I thought a whole lot about it in those terms. I mostly just thought about how much I hated doing the work and how much I hated going into that office and how much I looked forward to leaving at the end of the day. And, how willing I was to endure day after day after day of that in exchange for the payoff of my stock options, which vested yearly. But I guess on the whole, I would be more comfortable, if I were, I don't ever expect to leave this planet. Not in this body. But if I ever were to, be invited to go live elsewhere, I think at the moment I would rather live in a U.S. colony on some other, celestial body than on some wholly owned corporate colony. I don't think I really want to live in Amazonville. But, if I were a customer of Amazonville, it would be a great place to live. If I was a worker, not so much. So I guess that's the distinction I'd be interested in. Amazon is relentlessly customer focused. Well, maybe in the future they'll be relentlessly citizen focused. That their top priority will be in maintaining the goodwill of their customers turned citizens. Just don't work for them. I got good comments on some recent videos. On an upcoming video, I plan to share some of them. So keep sending comments and post something to the Friday videos so that Colin and I have something to respond to. All right. Talk to you later.